Hey, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Ladybug Tsum Tsum, and it was designed by me. Of course, the basic Tsum Tsum pattern is by Craftmuse, but I came up with a Ladybug Tsum Tsum, and I really like it. I think it's super cute. So yeah, these are the two Ladybug Tsum Tsums I have. And I also made Cat Noir, which you've probably already seen because I've already posted the tutorial for him. So you can make them both. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll link the Cat Noir description video in the description in case you want to make Cat Noir and Ladybug. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say, but yeah, I think it's really cute. Yeah, so I'm gonna be making Ladybug exactly how you see here. So I'll show you where to do the dots and like everything. I don't think she's too hard to make. I think if you've already made Cat Noir, he's like the harder one of the thing. She's a lot more simple. I don't know why I feel like she's more simple, but she is. And yeah. Okay, so the band count for these guys is 430 in total, which is less than Cat Noir somehow. I think I counted wrong for him. Not surprised. But 430 in total. For the black, it's about 32 if you do the dots exactly where I did. But if you don't like where I put the dots, it's easy to move them around, so don't worry. For the red, it is 203. And then for the peach, it's about 106. And then for the blue, it's about 89. So yeah, these guys are a little band heavy, but I feel like if you have made Tsum Tsums before, you know they're band heavy, so it's like no surprise really. But yeah, I am working on mini ones, which I'm excited for. See how they turn out. Of course, I don't have too much to say about this design. After making the Cat Noir tutorial though, I am gonna not be explaining like the very basic stitches as much. I try to explain a little bit usually in my tutorials, but because of the color placement and like how we start placing the colors right away, it's kind of hard for me to do that with trying to just explain where the colors go, which I feel like is more important, kind of. So, if you don't know the basics of Loomigurumi already, maybe go check out my Loomigurumi basics video first, and then come and do this. But if you've already made a couple of things, then you should be fine. Especially if you made a couple of my things, you'll be fine. Okay, so for this tutorial, of course, you're going to need whatever color of bands you want for Ladybug, and you're going to need a hook, something to mark your rows. I'll be using a C-clip. I always use a C-clip. And then for the eyes, I'm using the same pony beads that I had before. These are like glow in the dark, but I don't know where I got them from. I just found them with my beads, so. But you could use any blue beads, or you could even use blue bands if you wrap a band, like 2 bands around your hook 4 times. It's probably like the same thing. But I think that's all I want to say, so I guess we'll get started. I'll have the pattern and everything down in the description, so if you ever get lost as to where I'm placing things or anything like that, I have everything in the description, so we can... So that way it's better. I feel like sometimes I'm confusing with where to place things. So if you ever get lost, maybe the pattern in the description will help. I feel like I wrote Cat Noirs pretty well, so yeah. Okay, so if you already made Cat Noir, which I don't know how many people will make Ladybug first, but if you've already made Cat Noir, we start basically the exact same way, and we do the exact same thing to make the mask, and we literally don't get to doing different things until after we do the 2 rows of peach. So if you've made Cat Noir already, you do the exact same thing for the face, but just in Marinette's colors. Or Ladybug's colors. Oh. So yeah. So we're going to start by doing, of course, we start at the front, which is the mask. So to start, just going to make sure everything's focused. You're going to wrap a band 3 times around your hook. So this is 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to pull a peach band. Okay, yeah, a peach band through the cat band, and then put the back one over the front one. So what we're doing is we're basically making like a magic ring with 6 stitches in it, but I'm just kind of showing where to put the colors. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a peach one, and then we're going to do 2 red, and then we're going to do a peach, and then 2 red. So we just did a peach one. Also, I kept forgetting to say this in the Cat Noir tutorial sometimes, but every time we're flipping colors, we're going to be slip stitching. So what a slip stitch is, I'll show you right now. So we're going to go back into the cat band. And because we are switching colors, instead of pulling the band through just the cat band, we're going to pull it through everything on our hook. And then put the back one over the front one. And we're going to be doing this every time we switch colors. And I just do it like that just so the colors flip nicer. But we're going to go back into the cat band. We're going to pull a band through the cat band. Put the back one over the front one, and then put the loop from last time over. So we just do it like normal when we're not flipping colors, but when we're flipping colors, you're going to want to slip stitch. So once again, we're flipping colors. So you're going to pull it through everything on your hook and then put the back one over the front one. And then we're flipping back to red, so once again we pull it through everything on our hook and then put the back one over the front one. And then we're going to pull the band through just the cap band, like that. So after we did this, you should have 6 stitches in the cap band, and it's really easy to tell if you have 6 stitches because there should be 2 red, a peach, and then 2 red, and then a peach. So this is very important for the ladybug pattern in any of my designs, where I basically like show you where to place certain things, because if you don't put your C-clip on the first span, anything I'm going to tell you from here until the rest of the tutorial is going to be off. So I know some people like to put their C-clip in this band, which would be the last band, but I always put my C-clip in the first band, so we're going to put in the first band. Just make sure, even if you don't like putting in the first band, you do for this tutorial, because literally everything's going to be off if you don't, because you're going to get confused at what I'm saying. Anyways, we're going to pull a band through everything because we're switching colors. Put the back one over the front one, and then we're going to be putting a C-clip on this one. I just dropped my C-clip. Shoot. Luckily I have a bunch on my desk. I nearly dropped 2 of them. Like that. So now for this next row, we're going to be increasing everything as well as kind of still like expanding the mask. So I'll tell you what to do. Okay. So we're going to be putting the mask color on the 2nd and 5th increases, and the whole increase is going to be whatever color, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, I was just making sure of something. So this first one already has 1 in it, but because it's an increase, we're going to go back in and do another one. And it's in peach. Like that. And then the next, so the second, in the second loop, we're going to do, this increase is red, so we're going to switch over to red, so we'll be slip stitching, so pull a band through everything on your hook, and then put the back one over the front one. And then we're going to go back in, of course, and do the other half of the increase, so. And we're not slip stitching for these. You literally only slip stitch when you flip colors. I'm making such a point of saying this because I don't want anyone to be confused. When we're not switching colors, you just do the stitches like you normally would. You don't pull it through everything. You would just pull it through, so the first one. Basically, you don't pull it through the last one. You only do that when you're flipping colors. But then the next 2 are going to be in peach, so we are going to need to flip back to peach, so of course we'll pull it through everything on our hook, and then put the back one over the front one. And then we're just going to go back to doing like normal. Also, we're still increasing, so we're putting 2 in each loop. So 1, 2. And the next loop is both peach as well. Two. Let me just check something. So, okay. And then the next one, the next increase we're going to do is going to be in red. So we're going to switch back to red. And slip stitch because we flip colors. We just do the increase. And then for the very... Did I put the C-clip on the right? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. And then for the last increase in this row, we're going to flip back to peach. And then I thought I messed up, but I'll show you. So I thought I messed up because I saw this thing that looks like a loop, but it's actually the horizontal, like, not horizontal, I don't know, like the folded over part of this loop. You can kind of see it. So it's this bit. So it's not a loop, so just make sure you don't accidentally go into that one and increase or something. Once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And we'll move it up. Like that. So after that last row, you should have 12 loops, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that 12? Did I count right? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we have 12. It also should be looking something like this. So basically the 2 increases we did on the top and on the bottom are like peach. So it should be looking like this. Okay, so in the next row we're going to be adding the eyes. So you're going to want to get your eyes. And we're still going to be doing the mask. Don't worry, this is like the most confusing part of the whole design is doing this mask part. So after this it goes a lot quicker. And I'm just making sure I'm doing it right. Okay. Okay, I'm just making sure everything's right. So this row we're also increasing every other, and it basically means is every other stitch we do is going to be an increase. So we just did 1 single stitch, so the next stitch is an increase, and we are also switching to the mask color. So we're just gonna switch to the mask color, and this is an increase, so both stitches of the increase are in red. And then on the third loop we're going to be adding the eye, which should have a red band through it because it's in the mask color. So we're just going to add the eye in. Like that. And then the next stitch we're going to do is an increase, and it'll also be in the mask color. So we're going to do the whole increase in the mask color. And now we're going to switch back to peach. Picking up some peach. I'm using like silicone bands, so they're a little sticky, so it takes like me a second to pick them up. But yeah, so the next stitch is going to be peach, and we're increasing every other, so we just did an increase, so the next one's a single stitch. And like I said, just remember to slip stitch when you flip colors. I'm not going to remind you every time because I forget. But we just did a single stitch, so the next one's an increase. Okay. Then we're going to do a single stitch. And then the next stitch we're going to do is going to be an increase, but we're also switching to red. So this is the 8th loop when we start doing the mask again. So if you want to count just to make sure you're on the right loop, we ended on the 4th, so the last red stitch we did was the 4th, so then this one was the 5th, 6th, 7th, and then on the 8th we start the mask again. Just in case you're looking in the pattern at the description, And then we're going to add the eye on the 9th loop, which is the one we're on right now. And then the next one will be the last part we do in red, at least for this row. And it's also an increase. So just remember that you're increasing every other, even if I don't specify it, because I feel like I'm forgetting you guys to tell these things, but we were increasing every other this whole row. I'm just trying to focus on where to tell you to place the mask colors, because I feel like that's more important. I can't believe I dropped my camera again, and then I like had that awkward pause of you guys just like staring at my ankle. Yeah. Where were we? Oh, we're switching back to the peach color, and always just make sure because when we slip stitch, the band that we fold over is gonna look like a loop, but it's not. So always just double check that you're not gonna go into those. But yeah, we're switching back to peach. And I think it's a single stitch, and then this last one's an increase, and then we'll be back at the C-clip. And then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch, and we'll move it up. Like that. So after this last row, I believe you should be at 24. So, are we at 24? No, we should be at 18. I'm on the wrong row. So yeah, if you could count, you should be at 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on here. I accidentally slip stitch. Hold up, I'm gonna fix what I did. Okay, so I fixed it because I accidentally slip stitch after I did the eye, but we're just gonna count around to make sure we have 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And this is the very last row. We're going to be doing this next row with the mask, so we're almost done. But this row we're going to be increasing every third, and then we'll be putting the mask color where I tell you, which will be in a second. I'm just picking up some red bands. So we're going to be putting the mask color on the second. So this is the first, so the second, third, fourth, and the fifth. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. This is the first, so the second one's in the mask color. We're also increasing every third, so just every third stitch we do is going to be an increase. So this is 1, and this stitch was 2, so the next one's going to be an increase. So 1, 2, and just be careful. Make sure you remember to stitch into the band that has the eye on it, because it is going to be very small. So 1, and then 2, and then the next stitch we're going to switch back to peach, and it's also going to be an increase. So on this one, try and get that red band off my finger. This one's going to be peach. So the last red loop on that one, we're going to start going back to peach. So remember to slip stitch, and it's also an increase. And I need to pick up some more peach. I'm sorry, I'm taking a second. These silicone bands, I mean, they're not as bad as I thought, because the glittery silicone bands are a little more hard to use, but take a second to pick up. So we just did an increase. Okay. 1, 2. We do an increase. And then we're going to switch back to red. So we switch back to red on the first red loop. And then we're going to do an increase. And it's in red. The next few stitches are going to be in red. So 2. The next 3 stitches after this one are actually in red, so this is 1, 1, 2, and then this is going to be the last red we do, and it's an increase, but only the first half of the increase is going to be in red. So the first stitch of the increase we're going to do is going to be red, and then the second half of the increase is going to be in peach. So you're going to want to switch to peach. Like that. And 1, 2. And then the very last stitch we do is an increase. So if you want the exact bands they're on, I have all that in the description, but that was the last row of the mask, and it's like the hardest part. Move it up. like that. So now we should be at 24 loops, so if you count, should be on, I don't know why I took my hook out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And now we're just going to do 2 rows around this in peach. So we have 2 easy rows technically after the mask. She should also be looking something like this right now. So yeah. Yep. Just picking up some peach bands. Okay, so now, like I said, we're doing 2 rows around this. Ooh. So I'm going to stay on with you to do the first row, and then after this, I'll go off camera to do the second row because it's very repetitive. But all we're doing nothing but single stitches every single loop until we get back to the C-clip. So after this row, you should still be at 24. In fact, for the next, like, I think it's 14 rows total, it's nothing but single stitches in every loop until you get back to the C-clip. So we're not increasing or anything. We're just going around. You know, filming these 2 tutorials has definitely been, like, hard on my explaining skills. Like, I thought I got better at explaining, but then after doing these 2, it's like, oh, I gotta remember to say this and this. It's just, like, so much happening at once. I hope I explained it well, though. I tried my best. I mean, if you didn't like it how I did in this one, maybe check the Cat Noir out and see if I did better in that one. I don't know. Because her masks are done exactly the same. But I try to give you guys, like, as much as possible so you can get it right. Like, I show you how to do it. I have the pattern in the description, you know. But I try. So just doing 1 stitch in each loop until we get back to the C-clip. It takes a second. These things are so big, it takes so long to go around them. But we're actually almost done with the face. I really do think the mask is, like, the hardest part. It took me a couple times to get it right, but I'm happy with how I finally figured it out. I'm just picking up some peach bands. Almost there, but not quite. I think it's funny because I can hear my family doing yoga. I don't know why they always decide to do yoga when I'm filming. But, like, the TV's right behind my wall, and I can hear them watching the video. Okay, so we are back at the C-clip. Well, almost. Now we are. So we're just going to make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it. And we're going to move it up. So this is a really good row to count to make sure you have 24, because after the mess that was kind of the last row with all the slip stitching, it's kind of hard to see what's what, but after the, like with this row you can, so if we count around, we should have 24, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did one more time, just go around in peach, and then I'll come back to show you what to do next. Okay, so I finished the second row of peach, and it should look something like this. And then you should also still have 24 around, so yes. Okay, but now we are going to be doing, we're still using peach on the bottom, but we're going to start putting some blue on top for the hair. I know you can't really see, but there is blue underneath her fringe. So yeah. So you're going to want to get whatever color you want for Marinette's hair. I'm using dark blue because her hair is dark blue. Is her hair? No, her hair is not black. It's dark blue, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I was like, is her hair? No, it's blue. Okay, I don't know why I'm putting peach bands on my finger if we're going to need blue. Okay, so we're going to start adding hair on the third loop. So the first, well, like 2 stitches or my camera nearly fell. I'm sorry. I just kind of yelled. Okay. So focus. Okay. So this is 1, so this is 2, and we're still going to do it in peach. And then on the 3rd loop, which is the next one, we're going to switch to blue. So slip stitch to flip colors. And then from here all the way until the 13th loop is going to be blue. So I think it should be 10, but I'm not sure. So 13, not 13, 4, 5. By the way, I started counting at 3 because this is the 3rd loop, and I know I need to go to the 13th in case you're wondering when I went 3, 4, 5, this is 6, 7, ooh. 8, 9, 10, need some more blue. Wait, were we on 10? Wait, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13. And then after the 13th, we're just going to flip back to peach, and the rest of the face will be peach. So the hair is really simple. I really think the mask, like doing the mask on her, is the worst part. So we're just going to flip back to peach. Remember to slip stitch to flip colors. And the rest is peach. Okay, because it's going to take a second to go back to the C-clip. I'm just going to talk about whatever. I'm not really explaining because we're just doing single stitches. This is random, but I was thinking about this right now because, I don't know, I was thinking it would be cool if I would make tutorials maybe in Spanish because, okay, I don't speak Spanish. First, let me say that, but I do understand a lot of it. And recently my family was watching a Spanish TV show, and I do realize I do pick up a lot of Spanish. I just don't think I know enough to hold a conversation, but I wonder if I could learn enough to possibly make a few tutorials in Spanish. I don't know how many Spanish-speaking loomers are out there, or maybe loomers who only speak Spanish, so I don't know how helpful that would be. But I think it could be cool. I definitely wish I knew Spanish, because I don't. Like, I understand it. Like, if someone talks to me in Spanish or tells me to do something basic, because, like, I had a job and there was this lady who only spoke Spanish, and she would, like, tell me what to do, and I would respond in English because she understood English, and I understood Spanish, but neither of us could speak the language. Our conversations were always interesting, but, yeah. Okay, but we're back at the C-clip, so I'm going to explain some more. So we're going to be doing kind of the same thing as last row, where we do blue on the top and then basically peach on the bottom. So we're going to need some more blue bands. After each of these rows, you should still be at 24 loops if you want to check to make sure you didn't accidentally increase or something. But I'm not going to really check because I'm pretty sure I'm at 24. But this time, for this row, we start adding blue in the second loop, so this is the first, and then this is the second, and we're already going to switch to blue. And then we're going to be doing blue all the way up until this blue loop, so all of these are going to be blue. So we're just going to do single stitches all the way across in blue. Okay. Yeah, but now that I'm done explaining that, I don't know. I mean, obviously no one who speaks only Spanish is watching this video probably because I speak English. But yeah, I just don't get it because I know as a child my mom said I literally spoke in Spanish, and then one day they all just stopped talking to me in Spanish, so of course I lost it. But why didn't they raise me bilingual? It would be so helpful, especially because where I live, majority of people speak Spanish and English, or Spanish or English, so it's helpful to know. Okay, almost there. Okay, so we know that's the 13th loop, so now we're just going to switch back to Peach, and then the rest of this until we get to the C-clip is in Peach. Hair is really easy to explain after doing the mask, where it's like, super easy. Me and my family, though, have been watching, it's a Spanish show on Disney Plus called Mia. I don't know if you've seen it. It was 60 episodes. They were like 45 minutes per episode, and we binged it over the past couple weeks. And that's kind of what got me into, like, maybe thinking about learning Spanish, like, at least enough Spanish maybe to make some tutorials in Spanish. But yeah, we watched the show Mia. It was good if you want to watch it. It was a kids show, but, like, my sister, only watches kids shows because she thinks, like, other shows are too intense, so with her, we only watch those. And yeah, it was good. They kind of dragged it out, but I do recommend it. Because I was thinking, like, how many words would I probably need to know to make a tutorial in Spanish? Like, assuming I don't talk like this in between things, I probably would only need to know a few words. And then everyone would laugh at how bad my Spanish is. The things I think about. Once you get back to the C clip, you're just going to move it up. Actually. Okay, so we would move the C clip up onto this band, but I just remembered that this first stitch is supposed to be red now. So just change it to red and remember to slip stitch because we're flipping colors. And then the C clip goes on the span. And then it is basically going to be the exact same thing as last row where all of these loops are blue. So we just go immediately this row into doing blue. So yeah, we're going to do that. So we're just going to go across all these loops until we get to this first peach loop in blue. And just make sure you don't accidentally go into any of the slip stitches, because sometimes this will look like a loop, but it's actually not. We just go all across the top in blue. I'm trying to think of other things to talk about. I feel like it's better for me to talk about things than sitting in like silence in tutorials. Even though recently I have gotten some complaints like, why are you talking? Or why aren't you explaining? But I feel like there's not too much to explain here. We just need to go across the top, so yeah. I honestly should go look on YouTube. I wonder if there is people making tutorials in other languages. I don't think I've seen any. I can't imagine how confusing it probably is to watch a tutorial or something and they're not speaking your language. That has to be hard. Okay. And then once we get to the first loop that is peach, we're just going to do the rest in peach. Wait, no, we're not doing it in peach. I'm so dumb. We're doing it in red. We switched to red this row. We're also adding the legs, which I just remembered that we're supposed to do this row that I forgot about. Yeah, we add the legs this row. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make the legs. If you just pull your C-clip out, you can put a C-clip on this first blue band to hold it, because we're going to need to remove our hook, or if you have a second hook, you can get that. I can't believe I forgot to tell you how to make the legs at the start. That's my bad, but yeah, because we're going to add the legs on the bottom here because it's going to be red, not peach. I don't know why I thought peach. So yeah, so I'm just going to pull my hook out. It shouldn't come apart as long as I don't poke it, so we're just going to set that aside, and I'm going to show you how to make the legs really quickly. So the leg is basically just a magic ring with 6 stitches in it, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're going to wrap a band 3 times around your hook. You're going to pull a red band through everything on your hook. Then you're going to push the back one over the front one. And then you're going to go back through the cap band, pull a band through just the cap band, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over. And then we just keep doing this until we have 6 stitches in this, I guess, magic ring, cap band, whatever you want to call it. This is exactly how we did the start of the face, but without all the color flipping, so I don't feel like I need to explain too much, but yeah. I think I need one more stitch. Okay, so now we should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So once you've made sure you have 6 stitches, instead of going back into the cap band, you're going to go through the first loop, and you're just going to pull a band through everything on your hook, and then you'll set this aside. So if you don't pull on it, it should be fine. But you're going to want to make 4 of these in total, so 3 more. I'm going to go off camera really quickly, do the other 3, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do. Okay, so once you have all the legs, you should have a bunch of legs, but we're going to set 2 aside, and then we're going to use 2 right now. So we set aside her, but we can just put her hook back in. And then we're going to be adding the legs on the 15th and 22nd loops. So this loop is the 13th, so this is 14, so this one's going to be red. So we'll switch to red. And then right here we're going to add the first leg. This is the 15th. And then we're just going to keep counting until we get to the 22nd, and then we're going to add the other leg. So 16th loop, 17, 18, 19, and then 20. Need more red. 21, and then on the next one we are going to add the other leg. You can also add the legs in at the end if you don't want to add them during it, but I usually add them at the end, so I'm praying there. Oh, they look crooked. Oh, that's not good. Hold up. Let me finish off this row, and then I'm going to make sure her legs aren't crooked. Once you get to the sequence, you'll move it up, and I'm just going to triple check the legs real quick, because they looked crooked, but I might just be too picky, but they looked really bad when I took a glance at them, so I'm going to just go check to make sure her legs are okay. Okay, so I looked at it, and yeah, her legs are a little crooked, but it's an easy fix, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. So this leg is fine, we just need to move this one down a stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just undo the top part of all the loops. This is an easy way to move things. So you're just going to undo the top part, and then once you get to the one with the leg on it, you're going to take that stitch out. Like I said, you can add the legs in at the end, so you don't have to do this. You can just do stitches, and then at the end you tie them in, but I'll show you where to put them. And then you'll, of course, just make a stitch on this one. And then on the stitch one down from it, we're going to undo the stitch that's in that one, and then we'll add the leg in this one. And they should be okay now. And then you just have to re-loop all the top parts of these loops, and it doesn't take long, so it's not a big deal. I'm so bad at the leg placement. I got it wrong on Cat Noir. And I almost got it wrong on Ladybug, so yeah, and if you still don't like where the legs are, or if you want to move them, they do go in this row, so you can move them anywhere you want. It's personal preference, but I think right there looks pretty straight, so we're going to leave them. But now we can actually add the nose in right now, so I think we're going to do that. So let's just take our hook out for a second, and we're going to add the nose. So the way I did the nose, I believe, was I got 3 bands, and I wrapped them around my hook, I think 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then I pulled a band through. I didn't notice my pencil was there. I pulled a band through everything on my hook. And then we're just going to tie the nose into the face. And where I tie the nose every time is you can see that this right here, there's a hole in here and a hole in here. It's like directly across the cap band. That's where you want to stick your hook, up through those holes. So it's kind of hard to show you, but you go up and through one half. Hold up, see? And then we're gonna come up through right there to grab the other half. It's right there. You just pull it in. I want to pull in. Pull it in. It's being difficult. And then you'll just tie it in. And I haven't had a problem with the nose coming out, so usually I just pull it tight and then I just leave it. And there we go. She has a nose. Okay. So now we can just stick our hook back in and we're going to be doing the next rows. So all the next rows are all in red, but then I just put random spots of black for the black. And if you don't like where I put the spots, you can move them around. It's not that hard. Just the basic way we do the spots. Do it wherever you put your spots, but basically all we do for the spots is we put one band somewhere in the row and then I'll come back on the next one. Yeah, it'll make sense. Okay, so like I said, we're adding spots this row, but you can put them wherever you want. If you don't like, I'm going to be showing you exactly where I put them in this ladybug, but if you want more spots or less spots, you can just do it whatever. Once we do the first spot, you'll see how it's easy to move them, so yeah. But all across the top basically is going to be red. The first, where we put the first black band is on the 16th loop, so we're just going to count until we get to 16. This is 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you don't want to count as you go, you can just, whenever you think you're at 16, just count all the way up until the C-clip, and you can decide if you're at 16. I don't know if I'm at 16. I lost count. So I'm just going to count backwards to see where I am at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I need to go 3 more loops and then I'll be, well, 2 more loops and then I'll be at the 16th. So we're just going to go 1 and then 2. And then this should be the 16th loop. So we'll just count to make sure we're on the 15th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're on the 15th. So the next one's the 16th. And we're going to start adding black. So of course we pull it through everything because we're flipping colors. Push the back one over the front one. And then I don't really do a slip stitch for when we're going this way. When we switch back to red, I just make a stitch like you normally would. And I push the black over like that. And then the next black band is on the 21st. So this is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then the next one should be 21, so it'll be black. So we're just going to get a black band and slip stitch. And then the rest are in red, and when they're just normal, no slip stitching or anything. Then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just move it up. So basically all we did was we just changed 2 bands on the bottom to black. And now what we're going to do is we're basically just adding dots. So I'm just showing you where to add dots. So if you don't want to stay and watch like every single placement of the dots, but I will show you. I do have exactly where you need to put the dots in the description. So yeah, but we're just placing the dots. So for this row, let me see where the heck I am because I lost where the heck I was. Okay, so we're going to be putting black. We're going to put 2 on the top, and then I can't read my handwriting. Oh, okay, I know what we're doing. Okay, so we're just going to put 2 more dots on the top, and then we're going to continue building these 2 dots on the bottom. So I'm just going to pick up some more red. I'm already getting tired of talking, and we're like, we're not exactly near done. We're kind of near done, but not exactly. And I'm already getting tired of talking, so that's fun. But hopefully I survive. Yeah, so we're gonna add the first black band on the 4th, so it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th we're gonna add a black band, so slip stitch. I did not slip stitch. And then for the other, then we just continue like normal until we get to the what band is it? Till we get to the 10th, so this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the next one should be the 10th, and if you're not sure if it's the 10th, once again, you'll just count backwards to make sure there's 10 to the C-clip, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so yeah, the next one will be the 10th, so if you've done 9, the next one's the 10th, and that's where the black one goes. And we slip stitch. And then we're just going to continue doing red until we get to this one before the black band. And then once you get to the one before the black band, we're going to switch back to black. And the next 2 loops will be black. And we slip stitch because we're flipping colors. Then we do the next one in black. Then we slip stitch because we're flipping back to red. And then once again we do red until we get to 1 before the black band. And I'm just picking up some red bands. Takes me a second to pick up bands. Okay. And like I said, we just go until we get 1 before. And then once you're at 1 before the black band, we're going to switch to black. And the next 2 will be black, so slip stitch. We do this one. Then we slip stitch to go back to red. And then we just keep going until we get to the C-clip in red. And after each of these rows, you just still have 24 because we're not increasing or anything. I'm just showing you where to place the colors. Yeah. So it should look something like this. And we're going to do something very similar to this row where we're basically just finishing off these dots. So it's kind of easy to tell where we are. So just like we did for the bottom dots with the top dots, we're going to just go with red until we get 1 before the black band. So just have to do 1 stitch. And then once you're 1 before this black band, we're going to switch to black. Slip stitch. Then we do this one in black. And then we switch back to red. And then we're going to go once again until we get 1 before the black band. Then once we get to 1 before the black band, we're just going to slip stitch and switch to black. We do this one in black as well. And then we're going to go with red until we get to the first black band. And then once you get to the first black band, you're going to slip stitch to flip to black. Yeah. And then we're going to flip back to red and we're going to slip stitch again. Like that. And we're going to do this in this next loop, so we're going to go with red until we get to the first black loop. And I need more red. And then once again, once you get to this first black loop, we're going to switch to black. And then we'll switch back to red and we're going to slip stitch again. I almost said flip stitch. And then it'll just be red until we get to the C-clip. And then once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to move it up. Like that. And then this row we're going to do something kind of similar to what we did last row. So we're going to be adding the last part of the dot on these top two like we did for these bottom two. And then across the bottom it's just going to be red. So really simple. So once again, we're going to want to go until we get to that first black loop, which is basically only one stitch. And then once you get to the first black loop, you'll slip stitch to black. And then we'll slip stitch back to red. And then we'll go with red until we get to the first black loop again. And then once you get to the first black loop, we'll slip stitch to black. And we'll slip stitch back to red. And then all across the bottom on this part, it's just all red until we get back to the C-clip. So I need to pick up more red. And I'm just picking up some bands. Okay. Like I said, it's just red across the bottom. Oops. I don't really have much to talk about, and I'm kind of getting tired of talking, so I guess we just sit in silence until I get back to the C-clip. You know, I do think about this, though. Like, how do teachers do it, talking all day and teaching? Like, their voice has to be dead by the end of the day. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, and then we're just going to move the C-clip up. I'm just going to check something on my pattern really quick just to make sure I'm on the right spot. Okay, so I just paused to make sure I'm at the right spot on my tutorial, like on my pattern and everything, and I am. But I just wanted to let you know that I think we still need to zoom out a little bit because beep, they're getting bigger. But so I basically showed you how to do these first 4 dots. So it's this dot, this dot, this dot, and this dot. But if you want to move any of the other 4 dots, like I feel like this one should be moved down a little bit. You can, but just for tutorial purposes and just so you know where the dots are going to be, I'm going to be doing the dots exactly like I did in this one. But now that you've seen how to do the dots, you can put more dots, you can put less dots, you can do whatever you feel like. So just remember that. But basically, the next 3 rows, I'm just going to finish showing you how to put the rest of the dots in. Okay. Okay, I'm just making sure we're at the right spot. So we're going to start adding dots, the start of basically all the next 4 dots this row. So the first part of the next 4 dots is going to be on the 6th loop. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the next one's going to be the 6th, so we're going to switch to black. And then we'll just do red, and we're not going to do the color switchy thing, we just do red. So that was 6, 7, and then on the 12th is the next one, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the next one will be the 12th, but I'm just going to make sure. So I'm going to make sure I've done 11 loops, and the way you do that is you're just going to count back to the C-clip and make sure you've done 11, so, oops, I keep on doing everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we know the next one's the 12th, and we're going to switch to black. And then we'll just go to red, and we don't do a slip stitch. And then the next one's going to be on the 17th, yes. And I'm just picking up some more red bands. Okay. So like I said, we're just going to go until the 17th. So it was 12, this is 13, so this next one's 14. 15, 16, so the next one's 17, and you can count back to the C-clip if you want to make sure you just did 16, but I'm just going to assume it is. So we'll say this one's 17, we'll switch to black, and then we're going to go until the 23rd, so this is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and the way you'll know it's the 23rd, or the way I find it easier, is it should be the second one from the C-clip. So there's 1, 2, this is the 23rd. And we'll switch to black. And then we'll just do the next stitch, a single stitch in red. And then we should be at the C-clip, and we'll just do a stitch and move it up. And now what we're going to do is the same thing we did before. So we're going to do red until we get to the one before the black band, and then we're going to do black, and then we'll do black on the one with the black, and then we'll go back to red, and we just keep doing this all the way around. So I'll show you what to do, but it's pretty simple. And luckily, we're almost done with the spots, which I'm very thankful for, because I'm getting kind of tired of explaining. I feel like I have so much, like, I don't know, like, energy at the start of the tutorial, and then by the end, I'm like, you know? So yeah. It's going well, though, and I hope you guys like this Ladybug tutorial, so I do it for you guys, but I kind of was dreading the Ladybug and Cat Noir tutorials, because I knew that these are going to be even longer than, like, the tutorials I normally film. So yeah. But once again, we're just going to go until we get to the one before the black band, so it's a few. And then once we get to the one right before the black band, we are going to switch to black. And then the next 2 stitches will be in black. So switch to black, do the next one black. And then we are going to switch back to red, so remember to slip stitch. And we just keep doing this all the way around. So we go in red until we get to the one before the red. And then once we get to the one before the red, we're going to slip stitch. Oops, if I could slip stitch, that would be helpful. And we will slip stitch. And we'll do the next one in black. Then we slip stitch back to red. Then we go until we're one before it. And then once we are one before it, we switch back to black. So we're going to slip stitch back to black, do the next one in black, slip stitch back to red. And then once again we'll go until we get one before the next black band. Oh, I was noticing right now, I kind of spaced out. I forgot to slip stitch on this one, because I know like on the first one we don't slip stitch, but on the second half we do. And like you can tell I didn't slip stitch right here. I just forgot. I just didn't slip stitch. I did it again. Because the only time you don't slip stitch when you're flipping between black and red is on the first one when you're going back into red. I keep forgetting to do it. So we're on the one before the next black, so we will slip stitch to black. And then we'll slip stitch back to red. Right now. See, this is the one I keep forgetting to do when I slip stitch back to red. When I forgot to do it a couple times last time. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but I know I messed up, so. I mean, I didn't mess up with you guys because I told you guys to slip stitch. I just forgot. So now we should be having something that looks like this. And then this will be the last row for the dots. Thank goodness. So let me pick up some more red. Okay, so I don't remember if I recapped. I took a bit of a break from filming, like a 5-minute break, because my voice is getting tired. But like I said, we're just going to be finishing off the dots this row, so it's pretty simple. So once we get to the first black band is when we do something different, so we're just going to go until then. And then once we get to the first black band, we are going to switch to black. So we're just doing the same thing we did before. And then we'll switch back to red. So we slip stitch on both sides. Like that. And it finishes off the dot. And then we're going to just keep going until we get to the first black band of the next dot. And then once we get to the first black band, we are going to slip stitch and flip to black. And then we'll just slip stitch and flip back to red. Oh my god, I cannot. Like that. And then we're just going to go once again in red until we get to the first black band of the next dot. And we basically just keep doing this until we get back to the C-clip. So we just keep going in red. once we get to the first band of the next black dot, we're going to slip stitch to black, and then we slip stitch back to red, and then we keep going till we get to another black dot. And then we're at the last black dot, so we will do the slip stitch to black. Then we slip stitch back to red. Then we just go till we get to the C-clip. Okay, so that is it for the dots. You could add more dots or less dots, but for this tutorial and everything, I'm going to stop right here for the dots. But yeah, you can add more dots, you can add less dots, but I like how this looks, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to do 2 rows in all black, not black, red. And then I'll come back to show you how to do the hair and how to finish her up, but we're actually almost done, so I'm going to go off camera to do the 2 rows in just red, because it's basically the same thing we've been doing. So there's not really a point for staying on camera, but I'm just going to do 2 rows around this in red, and then I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I hope you didn't leave right away. So I forgot that you're supposed to do the legs on the first. So I was doing my row around in red, and I just remembered that we're supposed to put the legs on the bottom here. So this is the first row around in red. I haven't done the second one yet, but on the very bottom right here, you're supposed to do the legs. And I don't have exact marking of where I'm supposed to do the legs, so I'm just gonna undo some and put them where I feel they should go. So I feel like they should go on this one. So let me count to see what band this is for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So on the 12th stitch, you're going to put the first leg. And you could just put the legs wherever you feel, but this is exactly where I'm putting them in case you want to know. You could also time in at the end if you already did the 2 rows. It's not a big deal. But yes, that's the 12th, and then we're just going to go 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I think on the 19th is where we'll put the other leg. So you'll just get your other leg, and my camera's falling. Lately, my camera has been falling so much, and I do not know why, but I believe this is the 19th loop. We add the other leg. And I usually just try to have them line up, but I can tell they're all lined up, so we're good. And I'm just going to count to make sure this is the 19th loop, just so I have it right everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Is that 19 then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think it's 19. Okay, so I did count wrong. It's actually on the 18th loop, so that's where they go. And I'm just going to go till the end. And this was the first row of red around where I added them. So I probably should have stayed on for the first row so I would have remembered the legs. But, yeah, I forgot. But we're almost done. Okay. So like I said, after this first row of red, you have to do 2 in total. So I'm gonna go off camera and do the other one. And then I'll come back and I'll show you how to finish her up, because she is almost done. Yeah, so I'm gonna head off camera and do 1 more row. Okay. So I just finished doing the second row in red after we did the row that has the legs. So it was 2 rows of red total if you didn't add the legs, but I came back to show you where to put the legs. And yeah, she's looking really nice. Kind of like she has a huge forehead right now. But, so all we have left to do now is close it up. But I usually add her bangs on before, and then I add the ponytails after. So I'm going to show you how to do the bangs, and then we'll close her up. Also, just a quick note, when I did change one thing in the Tsum Tsum pattern. I didn't like how their butts were like perfectly flat, so I kind of did it so it's a little more round. It does take a little bit more bands, but I think it looks nicer than if it was like totally flat. So yeah. I don't know. Just the thing. But yeah. So I'm just going to show you how to do the hair on her, and my arm was in the screen because I was trying to pick up a band I lost, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to do the hair, and the hair is way easier than Cat Noir's, so if you did Cat Noir's hair, his hair is way worse than hers, and my camera keeps falling. I don't know what is up with my camera today, but it is fallen. I don't know how many times in this tutorial already, and I don't know if I see it slowly falling again. But for the hair, so for the short part of the hair, what we are going to do first is we are going to double a band on our hook, and then we're going to chain 2, so just pull 2 through. And then we are going to be putting 2 stitches in each of these, so I'm going to do 1. Okay. 2, and then we'll go into the next chain, and we'll put 2 stitches in this chain. 1, 2. And then in the cap band, we also just put 2. So 1, 2. And then we'll just go back into the cap band. Oops, I accidentally did a slip stitch. We'll just go back into the cap band and we'll pull 1 band through everything, and we'll use this to attach it to her head. But for now, we're just going to set it aside like this when we make the bigger piece of hair. So it shouldn't come apart, but you can set it on a hook or something if you don't want it to, but I'm just going to not touch it. Okay, so we do a similar thing for the bigger piece of hair. I'm just picking up some bands. So what we're going to do is the same thing as we did last time, so we'll cap a band on our hook, and then we're going to chain on 9, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh gosh, that was supposed to be 6, but then my chain just absolutely exploded everywhere. So now we're back to 2. So 3, oh my god. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this should be 9. So if you want to check to make sure you have 9, you count all the chains you did except for the cap band. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then what we do is we're going to put 2 stitches in this first part of the chain. So we'll pull a band through, put the back one over the front one, and then go back in and do a second stitch. But then in all the rest of the loops, we're just going to do 1 stitch. So we're not doing 2, we're just doing 1. So we're just going to do 1 stitch in each of the chains until we get back to the cap band, or the other end, I guess. But you're just doing 1 in each half of the chain. So when you go through the chain, you're not going through, like, I guess wrap it around. You just go through the middle of it, then you make a stitch. But I ran out of bands. Just picking up more bands. Literally anytime I go off camera, it's to pick up bands. Yeah, we're just putting 1 each of the chains until we get to the other end. We're just putting 1 in each. Okay, almost there. And then once you get to the cap band, you're gonna do 1 stitch in the cap band, and then we are going to turn. Oops, that was horrible. Okay, so once we're done on this part and we put 1 stitch in the cap band, we are going to turn. We're gonna go back the other way, decreasing every other loop. So the first one we do is just gonna be a single stitch. And then the second stitch we do is going to be a decrease. So what a decrease is, you're going to want to grab the front, or I guess inner part of one loop, and the outer part of the next loop. And we'll just make a stitch on this. We'll do 1 single. Then we'll do a decrease. . And we just keep doing this until we get to the other end. We do a decrease. And I need more bands. What were we? We were decreasing, okay. Then we do one. And then we should be at the other end. So once you're at the other end, you're going to turn, and we're just going to decrease everything until we can't no more, and it should make up the rest of her bangs. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease. I feel like the lighting's gotten worse. Let me turn up my light to see if that helps. But yeah, we're just decreasing absolutely everything till we get to the other end. Then once you get to the other end, I'm actually at an odd number, so I have to do a single stitch, but you will just turn again, and then you'll decrease again until you get to the other side. And after this one, we should be done. But we'll just turn and decrease some more. And then we're just going to tie this down. So we're just going to, so there's no loops left, but I'm just going to go in through part of her bangs. And then we'll just pull a band through everything on her hook. And then we can just tie this into her head. So we're just going to pick a spot. So let me put this on my hook so I can hold it for a second. So I kind of just try on her bangs and see where I like them. So she has like side swooping bangs, so just pick a spot that seems good. Like right there. Should I move them down a little more so they look more side swoopy? Yeah, so we'll put them right here. And then I'll just tie it into wherever band. Yep. We just tie it in. And then to get the rest of the bangs to stay down, you literally just tie it in until you like it. I usually for sure tie one on each end because that just makes the most sense. Sometimes you do need ties in the middle. I don't think when I did this the first time I had to tie it down in the middle, but I know when I did it the second time I did have to tie it down in the middle, so it just depends. And I wouldn't tuck any of the tails or pull them into the inside until you're happy with the bangs. But I'm already kind of happy with the bangs, and I only tied them 3 times. So I tied it on the first edge, then once in the middle, and then once on the end, and it looks okay. So I'm going to hide the tails in. Like that. Her bangs are still sticking up a little bit, but I don't know, because sometimes it does fix a little once she's stuffed. But you can always go back in and add more bands to tie it down if you're not happy with how it looks. And then we just add this little piece of hair on this other side just so she doesn't look too bald. And I'll usually, like at the end of this is where I'll put the start of this, just because it makes sense. But this is a smaller piece of hair we made. And you're going to want to make sure that it's not like curving the wrong way. So just, if it is, just flip the way you're tying it in. I can't get it. The struggles. And just tie it in. And then see if it's where you like it. I don't think this is... Well, actually, it's okay. And then I'll tie the other end right here. I usually try to make these cover her whole forehead just so she doesn't look bald. That's actually the whole purpose of this tiny piece of hair. I mean, she doesn't necessarily need it, but it helps her not look bald. So we'll just pull these inside. I don't do anything like really to tuck the tails in, because once the stuffing's in, I haven't had any problems with the tails like flying out, so, you know. One thing I do kind of like to do, though, is tie these 2 edges together so there's no, like, awkward gap like I'm getting here. So sometimes I'll just tie these 2 together just so we don't get an awkward gap. that. And then she has bangs. You can fix her bangs a little bit more when she's stuffed, but I like to just basically put them in, like more or less, and then finish her off and stuff her. I'm actually happy with her bangs, so yeah. I see my loops started to undo, and if this happens, you just have to re-loop all the top ones, so it's not too bad at all. But we are almost done, so we are just going to start closing her up. So this next row we're going to do once I finish fixing what undid. That's all I'm doing. I'm just fixing what undid, so yours hopefully didn't undo. Mine keeps undoing. But all we're going to do this next row is we're going to be decreasing every fourth, so every fourth loop will be a decrease. What is happening here? How are you tangled? It's like a weird knot. What happened? What is happening? I think one of the bands got stuck in the C-clip and it made like a knot. But like I said, we'll just be decreasing every fourth this row. So picking up some red bands. And we are almost done with Ladybug. I'm pretty sure you guys can tell that though, because she looks like almost done. The good thing about Tsum Tsums though is by the time you finish them, they're already more or less together. I know with some of my other designs, especially the toucan, like, there was a lot of things you had to attach. But, you know, just how it is sometimes. So like I said, every fourth stitch will be a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, and then this fourth one will be a decrease. So front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop, and make a stitch. And then we'll do that again. So we do 3 single stitches. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then we do a decrease. And we just keep doing this all the way around. 1, 2, 3. Also, I don't know why I have a blue band on my finger. We're not going to need it till we finish off her hair, but it's just there. And I need some more red bands. So 1, 2, 3. Just counting. That was such an awkward laugh. We have 1. Is that right? 2, 3. Okay, so I guess the last decrease is on the band that has a C-clip on it. So we're just going to do the decrease and we'll just move the C-clip to this band. And then after that last row, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You should have 19 loops left. So for this next row, we're going to be decreasing every third. So it's basically the same thing as we did last time, but we only do 2 single stitches and then a decrease. And then after this, we are going to stuff it. So 1, 2, and then we do a decrease. 1, 2, and then we do a decrease, and we just keep doing this. So 2 single stitches and a decrease all the way around. Second one. And 1, 2, and I need to pick up more bands. I wasn't sure what I did, but the next one's a decrease. And then 1, 2. Okay, so the third band is going to be the one with the C-clip on it, but we're not going to do a decrease. We're just going to make a single stitch and move it up. And after this row, you should have, let me go check. You should have 14 loops if we count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What do I have? 15? Did I count wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 15 loops. What the heck? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have 15 loops, but honestly, if you have 14 or 15, it's not too much of a big deal because we are just closing her up. Oh yeah, but now we're going to stuff it. I just started stuffing it without saying anything. So we are just going to stuff it. I think I need to go grab more stuffing, so I'm actually going to go do that because I think she needs, yeah, she needs a little more stuffing. So I'm going to go grab more stuffing real quick. Okay, I'm back with stuffing. So we can finish stuffing her and then finish her up. When I walked out right now, my whole family was like, hey, you've been in there a while. And I'm like, yeah, it's a long tutorial. I think these Ladybug and Cat Noirs ones are one of my longer tutorials. Oh, her bangs actually turned out perfectly. Oh, it's all blurry. But yes, she's almost done. Okay, so after we stuff her, what we're going to be doing this row is we're going to be decreasing every other stitch. So basically you do a single stitch, you do a decrease. And you just keep doing this until it's closed. So we just did a single stitch, so the next one's going to be a decrease. And then we do a single stitch. And then we do a decrease. And we do a single stitch. Then we do decrease. Then we do a single stitch. And like I said, we're just doing this all the way around. I'm sorry if I'm just like, I'm kind of talking to myself. But yeah. Let me do a single stitch. Okay, so after that row, we are literally, now we're just going to decrease everything till it's closed. So at this point, you can take the C-clip out. And we're just going to decrease absolutely everything until it's closed. I'll count in a second to show you how many loops I have at the end of the row. I just went to pick up more red bands. Oh my god. Okay. I keep spacing out when I'm picking up bands, so oops. But yeah, so we're going to just decrease everything till it's closed. But after the last row, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 loops. And we're just going to decrease everything now until it's closed. I feel like the lighting's getting weird. Oh, I forgot to turn my light back on. That's why it's weird. There we go. I saw it flicker. Oop. It's so hard not to get caught in the stuffing at the end. Just so much stuffing. But yeah, we're just going to decrease everything until it's closed. Yay. And basically, once we finish closing her off, once we do the ponytails, she's done, so it comes together really quickly. Well, I don't know, this tutorial's probably already at like an hour and a half. Like an hour and 15, and you're like, quickly? I don't think so. It's not too bad. And then once you have the last decrease up on your hook, you're going to pull a band through everything on your hook. Push the back one over the front one, and then pull it tight. And then we just hide the tail inside. Like that. Then you just kind of squish her around. Okay. She's almost done. We just need her pigtails. This just made me think of that episode of Miraculous when she has her hair down. She looks so weird. Like she needs to keep the ponytails on. I don't know. I like her in her ponytails. It's just like a random thought. Okay. Okay. So the way I do the ponytails is pretty simple. Basically what we do, I think, let me double check. Yeah, is we basically make 3 chains just coming off of her head. So right here, you're just gonna go in, just pick a spot where you want the pigtails to be on the side of her head. And you're just gonna chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then you're just gonna make a slip knot at the end. And then you're just gonna leave it hanging, and you're gonna make 2 more chains. I did this as like the bottom part of my pigtail for me, so above this. Somewhere, we'll go right here, sure. So 1, 2, 3. And you just tie it at the end. We'll do that one more time. So just go into her. You want to make sure you stay on the blue. If you go into the red, it's going to look weird. But you're just going to chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then you'll tie it at the end. And then I take 2 red bands. And I just wrap them around these pieces of hair. Well, hair bands. Usually just wrap it 3 times. And then how I hide the tails is now that she's like tied, well, her hair is tied down, you can just go up through these bands we wrapped around. And if you just pull the tail in a little bit, like that. So you're just pulling the tails into the ponytail. And you can pull the rest of it inside of like the Tsum Tsum. And it hides them. Like that. And then she has a ponytail. You just have to tuck the tails in like this. Usually once you pull the tail into the like bands we wrapped around, they don't come loose or anything, so you're good. So there's one ponytail, and then we just go to the other side and we do the exact same thing. And I'm actually running out of blue bands. Do I have enough to do the ponytails? I guess we'll find out. I think I do. Okay. So once again, we'll go on the very bottom of the blue right here. And we'll just chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And we'll make a slip knot at the end. We'll do this 2 more times around here. So, oops. 1, 2, 3. And we'll tie it off. And then we'll chain up 1 more time. I think I'm 1 band short. I don't have any more. 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh, I need to go grab. Oh wait, do I have a blue band? Oh, I do. Ah, I have 1. Okay. And then we tie it off. I also just knocked Cat Noir off my desk, so if you heard a bell jingling, that was him falling. And then once you have your 3 chains, you take 2 red bands, and you can wrap it around. I usually do about 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then we just pull the tails through this band we wrapped around. And we are done. So, I'm trying to show you her done, so I'm just trying to quickly pull it in. Okay. And she's done. So I hope your Ladybug Tsum Tsum turned out okay. I hope you like her. If you make any of these, well, if you make Ladybug, definitely share it with me on Instagram. I would love to see how your Ladybug turned out. Subscribe if you're asking more tutorials from me. I have more tutorials for things coming. I know the dinosaur is probably going to be next. I know everyone's been requesting / waiting for the dinosaur. I also have a bunch of Cat Noirs and Ladybugs now, so if you want to buy one for me, even though you probably just made one, I'll have them on my Etsy because I have too many. But yeah, I think that's it for this tutorial. Like I said, I hope you like your Ladybug. I hope everything, like your Ladybug, came out okay. And yeah, I think that's it, so bye.